from GiveMeGreatCredit.com. I want to try something a little bit different this time. I had a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine actually, write me an email and say, hey, look, you wrote this great book on credit. Is now a good time to buy a car? And I stopped thinking, if you ask my wife, any time is a great time to buy a new car, or ask anyone's wife, not just mine. So the answer to the question is, do you need a new car? I mean, if you need a car, it doesn't really matter what the interest rates are doing. It doesn't matter really where you are. I guess you could be better financially or worse. So if you're talking about it that way, then you would know better than me. But it's how you buy the car. Let me get to the point. It's how you buy the car. And in this video, I'm going to give you some tips, best practice things, the things that you really want to watch when you're purchasing your next new car. I cannot wait to get started on it, and so let's run with it. Let's go right to it. First step is you're going to do your research. You're going to ask friends and family about who own similar cars and as to what you're looking for. You're going to do your research on the internet. You're going to Google the car. You're going to narrow down your selection of cars before you ever allow yourself to get anywhere near an auto dealership. These people are professionals. You cannot think you're going to a dealership and ask a bunch of questions and not drive away with a vehicle. They're going to make it seem like you got the best deal in the entire world, when in reality you just got raked over the coals. So the number one thing, and I'm going to follow along, it's written right down here. The number one thing is you're going to do your research before you ever step foot on a dealership. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to want to go during the week. Never, ever, ever, for any reason, go to a dealership on a Saturday or a Sunday. Even Fridays I'd stay away from. Go on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday, sometime in the middle of the week. And there is a very good reason for this. You're going to have plenty of time to make this transaction, even if you take a day off work. Look, would you take a day off work to save $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000? Absolutely, you would. So do that. This is a serious transaction. You want to make sure that you have enough time to complete it. Now, let's go back to the research for just one second. I want to make sure that you understand that it's not just the vehicle that you're going to be researching. You also want to research your financing. You want to give yourself the very best financing for that vehicle unless you're paying cash. You want to give yourself the very best financing that you possibly can, and that means talking to people that you already have a relationship with. Make very clear, why not go back to the bank that you have your vehicle now financed through? Tell them, hey, I'd like to go purchase another vehicle, or it's time for me to upgrade this vehicle or move over or get another vehicle. What kind of interest rate would you give me? There's a number of reasons to do that. We're going to talk about those in part 2. So be sure and watch part 2 of this. All right, so now we've gone to the dealership. We're talking to a salesman, but not just any salesman. More than the dealership itself, you want a recommendation from a friend on the salesman or woman to work with. Someone that has treated them well before. Unless you have someone already, you need to get a recommendation before you go and talk to somebody about this type of purchase. Because we're now talking about, $10,000, $12,000, $30,000, $60,000 automobile. You definitely want to go with somebody that you've either A, done business with before, or B, you have a very serious recommendation from them. You are never, under any circumstances, to mention that you are going to pay cash for this vehicle. Under any set of circumstances, and that means even if you plan on paying cash, don't tell the salesman that. A great portion of what the dealership makes from that vehicle is on the financing that they are going to sell to you later. So if the salesman or the desk manager believes that you are going to pay cash for that vehicle, there is no reason for them to cut you a deal on the price of the car. You also do not ever want to tell them or acknowledge that you are going to be trading in the vehicle that you rode up in or rode to the dealership in, however you got there. So if you and your wife or you and your spouse drive up to a dealership and the first thing out of the salesman's mouth or one of the first questions he asks is, are you planning on trading that vehicle in? You look him in the eye, and if you have to, lie to him and tell him, no, we're keeping my wife's or my spouse's car. We're going to save that to the end of the transaction. Don't think for 1 minute that they're not trying to do the exact same thing to you. They are. Okay, so now you found the vehicle that you want, and it's time to make a deal. You're not going to tell them, hey, I'm going to pay cash for the vehicle. You'd say to them, listen, I would like to see an invoice for this particular vehicle. Now, it's going to make them very nervous, but they will probably bring you, not probably, you have the right to see the invoice. So you take a look at the invoice and you look and make sure that that's the same vehicle, match the VIN numbers, and you offer an amount above the invoice price, And it could be anywhere from $50 above invoice to $2,000 over invoice, depending upon how popular the make and model of car is. If it's not a one-off, if there's 50 of them on that dealership, on that lot, you need to be offering no more than a couple $100, $300 over invoice on that vehicle. And be firm, because you can always pick up and go try somewhere else. Keep that in mind. They're trying to work for your business. Now, you'll be asked the question, would you be accepting, would it be your financing or ours? And you tell them, your financing. Please, by all means, make me an offer on the financing as well. So they're going to relax a little bit and they're going to give you a better price. They're going to give you the price that you're asking for. And most of the time, when they go up, you come down further. Let them know, hey, this is a negotiation. If you can go up, I can go down. Once you've reached the price, and a fair price, once you've reached the price that you want for the vehicle, or you think you got a fair price on the vehicle, do not, under any circumstances, relax. And in part 2 of this, I'm going to tell you why. And a hint, the money starts now.